Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is my third video of my channel. I am going to do my utmost best to try and upload much more often, possibly do like 2, 3, 4 videos per week. My ultimate goal would be to do 1 video per day. That would be amazing, you know, quality, talk about all kinds of subjects. Having said that, today's video I'm going to be talking about my current topic and one of my absolute favorite topics to talk about, which is, you guessed it, minimalism. So today I'm just going to sort of talk about why it kind of gets a bad rap. I hear it all the time from family members or people that I know that, oh, you're not really a minimalist. You had so much stuff, or you buy stuff or whatever. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with buying stuff or going to the mall or whatever. I personally can't stand going to the mall. I'll buy something once in a while, and generally I'll go over how I go my process of doing that. But generally, I do a super stringent evaluation before going and buying something. So, like, do I really need this? Is my budget? Is it in the budget? All sort of different types of questions to myself before I go and make a purchase, especially if something, you know, like a camera or something electronic, which I believe personally brings quite a bit of value to my life, and that's how I go about things with minimalism. I generally I tend to own things that will bring value to my life and that will help me, you know, have fun and things like that. Something that I will use on a regular basis, which, you know, camera, obviously, computer, those types of things. Nothing that it's just gonna sit around and gather dust, you know. Those are some things that you could live without, and definitely can live without, to be honest. So that's how I go about that process. Now I hear a lot of different, you know, and specifically articles about minimalism, things like that. Now, just to go back to what I said in my other video, I have been a minimalist now since about 2015, around there. So what, nearly 7 years. Let's just say 6+ years, okay? And that's how I pretty much got into it, because how my mother passed away, and I had to sort out a lot of her things, her belongings. It really kind of opened my eyes. But what got me into the subject of minimalism was the documentary, the Minimalist documentary by those 2 guys. I can't remember their names right off the top of my head. The documentary was released in 2015, and I just sort of, it got me thinking, you know, like, wow, this seems like a type of lifestyle that I could, you know, get used to and whatnot. Now, it was not easy in the beginning. In fact, I had a kind of a relapse after, especially when I moved on my own. I had my own apartment, and I was like, okay, I need to buy this. This will make my apartment look better. I need to buy that, or a lamp, or here or there. So it kind of pulled me back a little bit, and I was thinking, no, it's not gonna happen. You know, I'm not gonna let this get a hold of me. So I just sort of started selling things that I really didn't need. You know. So it really can pull you back in if you're not too careful. You really have to make sure that this is the type of lifestyle that you want to have. So this is basically some of the difficulties as well. Now, I don't even do the whole Christmas thing anymore. It's been a few years since I started participating in that. Especially when you're dating, it can be super tricky. Like, even telling people that you don't want certain gifts. Now, that's one of the tricky things about entering the world of minimalism, you know. So living that regular lifestyle that you're used to getting gifts, and worried about things that, you know, family members are gonna give you that you don't want, it's really difficult to to sort of relay the message to your family members that, you know, I'm a minimalist. I don't need crap that I won't use. You know what I mean? It's just, it is life altering in many ways, especially in that aspect. Back to the dating thing. Now, it's hard to meet somebody who will understand your lifestyle, and I'll probably do a whole sort of video on that at another time. But you have to sort of explain to this person that you don't like kind of the clutter, you don't like having a ton of crap, and at Christmas time, you know, it could be even more difficult being in that situation. I go through that quite often, and at the beginning they got kind of upset, but you know, they have to sort of understand and respect your lifestyle, I guess. So I've read quite a few articles and seen some videos where people put down minimalism and they say it's like a fad, or it's something that's sort of a temporary life-changing thing until you kind of come back to your senses. I highly disagree with that, because for me, when I had a lot of stuff and I didn't have a lot of space in my place, the liberating thing, the thing that really hit me the most was the space that you gained and the organization that you had in your apartment after you've gone through this process. It's unbelievable. This is just my personal experience, because not everybody is going to have the same experience. A lot of people will do it because they want to save money and they want to reduce bills and things like that. That's also a key one why I did it, because I was able to reduce cost of living drastically and enjoy things that meant more to me. But coming back to the space, so for me, that was, I felt so like, how do I, liberated in a way, because I didn't have to worry about having so many things. I was able to take care of the things that I really did cherish, you know, things that I used on a regular basis. So you had more time for yourself, you had more time to possibly do a side gig to make more savings for yourself, and possibly have more money to do other things like traveling, which brings me a lot of joy for sure. You can't do all of that when you're spending money on junk that you don't need. I mean, let's be realistic. The debt in this day and age that people have it's absolutely insane. Now, I'll do other videos about, you know, the debt problem and how people try to normalize that, but it's not a normal thing to have, you know, thousands and thousands of dollars in debt. It's insane, really. It's absolutely insane. And I think that the consumerism, commercial style type world is the thing that's driving a lot of that. Now, minimalism is definitely a commercial, you know, business model's worst nightmare, a CEO's worst nightmare, because the more people that get into minimalism, the less, you know, profits these companies are going to make. So they'll definitely invest some money in these, like, what do you call them, puff piece journal columns that they'll basically talk bad about minimalism, and that's fine. You know, it's everyone's choice at the end of the day to decide whether they want that this is right for them or not. So for me, it ended up being absolutely wonderful. I don't own practically hardly anything, and I don't think there's a certain number that you should have of belongings. I think that you should have the right number for you. I'm not saying like 500 is okay, 500, you know, nothing like that. But I mean, let's say I heard the common rule, you know, the common denominator was 100 items or less. Now, that's probably a good benchmark to try and get to, if possible. And I always think of, is it like one piece of clothing is one item, or how does it work? And I think that is exactly how it works. Any single item is a number. Now, I don't buy into having a specific number or a specific set of rules or things like that. I think it's kind of a gradual thing. You know, minimalism, you don't necessarily have to get rid of every single thing you own. I think get rid of stuff that you just don't use, and you know, things that sit around or that are stored in a closet or something that you possibly could make some money off of and you don't need it, you know. I just love having the freedom of not having to lug all that stuff with me. So that's my personal belief on that. So the last thing that I'm going to talk about in this video, just so that I don't make this video super long, is how to get started. So a lot of people don't really know how to get started in minimalism, to get on the path to minimalism. Now, how I started was simply just starting selling things like hockey card collections, things like that, just to sort of get the value of the things that are worth money that you own, you know, like, because that's generally the most work, in my opinion, is the selling part. Now, you don't have to sell anything, you could just, you know, donate or whatever, but if you do think that some of the stuff that you own has value and you want to make some money off it, that's an awesome idea. I highly recommend that. Now, that is the reason why I say start there, is because it's the most work. Now, my thinking is get the worst out of the way first. That's how I roll. You could also just start small by donating the things that have no worth, and that's the easiest way. You know, pick up, let's say, for example, I had a lot of these knickknacks that have no worth and accumulated over the years, which is a true story, by the way. I had a lot of knickknacks from childhood and whatnot, you know, stupid stocking stuffer type of things. But anyway, so those type of things, I basically put it all in a box, definitely didn't want, sealed it, and brought it to like Goodwill or something like that. Now, they did accept them. There's certain things that those places don't accept, but you know, things that are still in good condition and they could sell for like $1 or whatever, they'll accept that. So that would probably be the best way to start to get rid of stuff. You could do it the easiest, the quickest way, which is like the donating of things that won't take time to sell, or you could do the hardest route, which is the most expensive items first, and then go to the easier things, you know, get the hardest out of the way. It really depends on you, but that's how I would go about it. How I did it was I started selling. So however you want, there's all types of different ways of how to get started in minimalism. You can start from scratch, like start with the little things, you know, like I just mentioned, knickknacks. However, if you live in a family and you're not by yourself, if you live with people, whatever, your husband, wife, whatever, don't start trying to go and mess with other people's things. Now, you might want to try and incorporate this in your household as a family. It's probably best to discuss it first with the family and then go from there. I wouldn't go right into like anybody's stuff and then start getting rid of it without them knowing and things like that. It could cause a huge problem. I mean, this goes without saying. Most people would not want to, would not be happy with their stuff being tampered with or thrown away or given away or whatever without them knowing. So avoid that, stick to the basics, and you should be fine. So this is Nick signing off with another video, and hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it was kind of all over the place, but I wanted to get more information out there about minimalism. Join my channel if you want to go on this journey with me. I don't know where my channel will lead to. It'll be all kinds of topics, you know, life topics and people topics, things that I love talking about. You know, maybe we'll find solutions together, who knows. So until the next time, guys, I really appreciate that you took the time to watch the video to the end. We'll see you in the next video. Hopefully there'll be many videos that I'll have out. Okay, take care. Bye bye.